Hey everyone. I'm gonna be dyeing my hair, so it's gonna be a process today. Although I may not do this video all the way through doing my hair, just because it's a pain in the ass as is. I'm only trying to get it to like a lighter brown color. 'Cause I have really dark brown hair that everyone mistakes it for black. But I want to dye my hair red, so I actually have to lighten it. But have you guys ever just watched an anime and or cartoon, watched a movie, watched a series, read a book, and just thought to yourself, if they just did that one thing, just one thing differently, the whole story would have been so much better. Like, I know I'm not the only one who does that. Like I've like reading a story and just just kind of like Inuyasha, the way I did that story on my own, the way I changed it was no matter what, something had to be done about Kagome. There was just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Something had to be done. He was a useless character from beginning to end. I never saw a reason for her having to be there. Or have you just read a story written? Have you ever just read a story and just thought to yourself, just that one thing that they do that could be entirely different? In two of my stories, I had three originally, I believe. It's been a while. Um, I have Kagome die twice, different times, but she dies two different times. No, she dies once, lives once. Um, Basically because I don't see the need for Kagome's character whatsoever. Um, well, basically don't see a need for her. The only thing that she was necessary for was learning about the Bone Eater's Well. That was the only thing she was useful for. Aside from that, her character was mainly just a screw up. They kind of they really made her a dick, no matter what. I didn't read the full manga of it. I started to, and then I got even more annoyed by her character. So I thought of different ways to improve the story. Basically, there was one where she dies in the fire. that the Band of Seven set. Like, she actually dies. Sango, Moroku, and Shippo are fine, but Kagome dies. And when she dies, her half-sister feels it and basically thinks that something's wrong, so is on her way to get to her and happens to run into Shishomaru, who she beats the crap out of, and Shishomaru ends up following her all the way to where Inuyasha is mourning over Kagome. And of course she's pissed. And she's pissed at Inuyasha because she's been watching over Kagome for a while now and keeps seeing the same thing being repeated over and over again. Him always leaving her, her being in danger, and him not learning his goddamn lesson, and does it all over again. She could have died thousands of different times. But anyway. You know, there was... it's a good anime-ish. I just saw no point in her character whatsoever. Her character was just... well, I don't really know the best way to put it. Her character was just a eyesore. And well, I never liked her to begin with. But anyway, in the story, she dies in the fire at the Band of Seven. And sister shows up. Well, half sister shows up and gets pissed off, beats the crap out of Inuyasha, yells at him, doesn't even let him say goodbye or anything of the sort. She just takes Kagome's body and takes her home. Jumps into the well to take her home so that her family can bury her at least. Inuyasha follows along with her. Really curious as to how she can pass through the well, because everyone thought only Inuyasha was capable of that, which isn't true. My theory played out a little differently, that as long as a character had a shard, a piece of the Shikon jewel, they could go through the well. But anyway, I cannot tell. It is. Anyway, yeah, they go through the well, get back, and Kagome's mom is extremely happy to see this unknown girl. And also really sad at the same time because she's just lost her youngest. She immediately invites Setsu in the house. Yeah, immediately invites her into the house. Ooh, I need to do that over here. and asked her for an explanation as to what happened. Well, at this point, Setsu's extremely pissed off already, and literally kind of throws Inuyasha into the fire, which, let's be honest, anyone would have. To anyone who wouldn't have thrown him into the fire, you really need to watch that series again and pay close attention to how that was his fault. But anyway, it the story is constantly the same no matter what. No matter who's telling it. No one likes Kagome's character. No one liked her character from the start. She's just really irritating. Which anyone can understand. She's a teenage girl. Of course she's going to be irritating. Not really, the best person to have fighting next to you when all she does is whine and tell you to sit and blah, blah, blah. This seems to be having some issues. But anyway, they go and Kagome's mom explains to Inuyasha who Setsu is and all this stuff. And she doesn't blame Inuyasha at all just because she doesn't know the full story. But she somehow gets the feeling from everyone else that it was entirely his fault, but she can't really be mad at him because, well, her daughter really liked him. Which again, mothers will usually always stick up for their daughters. So anyway, um, Setsu decides that she's going to get revenge. Doesn't necessarily have to be against Inuyasha. She's at that point where she really doesn't care. Never had this problem before. Yes. Anyway, so yeah, she dies at the hands of the Band of Seven. Setsu finds out, takes her back home. And has to deal with Inuyasha acting like he actually cares, which just pisses her off even more. So they get back. She goes to see Kaede after getting back to let Kaede know that the reincarnation of her sister is dead. Yet again, she has lost her family. Now, Kaede, on the other hand, is extremely pissed because she even told Inuyasha this time to protect her, to take care of her, blah, blah, blah. So Kaede's kind of losing her shit, doesn't want to see Inuyasha. Normal reaction. So they finally get back. And Shishomaru's there with Ren, just waiting, trying to figure out who the hell she is, what the hell's going on, blah blah blah. Just the normal stuff. And it's doing it. I don't understand. Anyway, Setsu gets really pissed off and just can't deal with anything at this point in time. And so she goes off elsewhere, wanders off into the forest where there's a lake not too far. Anyway, heads back into the forest and just kind of doesn't want to deal with anyone. But well, Ren follows her anyway, being really curious about her. And yes, I know I'm not doing this the right way, and I really don't care. Anyway, ends up, Ren ends up following her and sees her resting on a rock above the water under a cherry tree. Well, under a cherry blossom tree. And starts talking to her, asking if she's okay and who Kagome was to her because they haven't heard that part of the story. Kaede knows who she is, so it means that she's someone trustworthy, but they don't know who she is. All they know is that she knows Kaede and Kaede knows her, blah, blah, blah. And that Kaede is now very concerned about her. Me. So now we have this whole thing. Um, Shishomaru's behind a tree, just listening to them chat. Uh, Now Rin didn't know Kagome all that well, but she didn't hate her. So she asked Setsu how she knows Kagome, because that's apparently the one thing that they have in common is knowing her. Rin doesn't necessarily know Inuyasha. All she knows is that that's Shishomaru's brother. That's it. So anyway, they're talking, and Setsu says that Kagome is her half sister, and to Shishomaru that sends off some flags because, well, as far as he knew, both Kagome's parents were human, and there's no way that they could have that she could have a demon sister. He kind of failed to take into account that his brother is half demon, so we just kind of let that one slide. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that can happen," but this is the thing that doesn't make sense to Shishomaru is the fact that Setsu is full demon, not half. And it's mainly because the type of demon that they are part of the dog demon tribe. They fought alongside, well, her dad fought alongside Inuyasha's dad in the War of the West. But because their clan is so special, no one's ever really heard of them. And the myths about them are, well, usually pretty bad. So anyway, they get into Rin's listening and absorbing all the information. Shishomaru is listening behind a tree, and Sango happens to be not too far because she was concerned about the girl. She was concerned about Setsu. And being another female who actually cares about people, she wanted to check up on her. Not only that, Sango could feel something familiar about her. So anyway, there's that. Anyway, the story goes on to where somehow I never really explain why because I really don't care how, but Naraku gets involved. gets pissed off, eliminates the band of seven for not listening to him and killing the one person who could see the shards. Blah blah blah. You know, normal normal behavior for Naraku. So now he wants an explanation as to why the one person he wanted alive is now dead. And of course figures out that most of the band of seven have shards of their own, so he goes and steals those. Now, while he's doing all of this, he hears of a girl who came out of nowhere. Like, literally, she came out of nowhere because I created her out of thin air. Anyway. Anyway, Naraku gets involved. Kikyo's Kikyo happens to hear that her other half died. Her reincarnation died. And wonders why she hasn't gotten her soul back. Why she hasn't gotten her full soul back. And that has to do with Setsu. As Setsu's not going to let her sister die in vain. There was no way she was going to let the soul go to go back to the woman that killed her sister. Well, that was the reason that her sister got killed. Yeah, normal big sister stuff. It's not allowed to happen. I don't care if it bleaches at all. Yeah. But anyway. So Kikyo gets annoyed because she's still not living. She's not alive. She still has to feed off of the souls of the dead. And so she gets ticked off and goes to the village to see Inuyasha to see if he had anything to do with it because she's stupid and she can't think logically. And happens to see, walks into the village, walks into Kaede's, and then literally sees Setsu and turns around and leaves. Doesn't say anything. Just the second she sees Setsu, she's just like, oh, hell no, and leaves. Because Kikyo's run across her several times. And every single time, Kikyo nearly dies. So yeah, she's gonna fucking run. Smart thing to do too, because I'm fixing to kill her. So anyway, she turns and hightails it out of there as fast as possible, Inuyasha then begins to chase her yet again because he's a dumbass. Woo! I almost got that in my eye. Thank God I did not. That would have sucked. Anyway, so yeah. Setsu really ticked off and all that, having lost her sister, then seeing Kikyo and then seeing Inuyasha run after her. Ooh, she was super pissed. So the first thing she does is she catches up to Inuyasha first and beats the living hell out of him. Sango and Moroku drag his ass back to Kaede's to get bandaged up, although there's no real reason to, because he heals fast. Spitting everywhere, it's rude. Anyway, he heals really fast. He doesn't really take a lot of damage, which just pisses Setsu off even more. But she's not really in the mood for that right now. There we go. So anyway, they get into the whole you can't do this, she's a living person, blah 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 type deal. Basically trying to convince her not to kill Kikyo. As if that shit's really gonna work. There we go. And, tries to tell her that she can't do that. Kikyo is a living person, blah, blah, blah. You can't just up and kill a person. Trying to tell her that it's morally wrong when every single one of them has killed somebody. So she's not really listening to them at all. And she inevitably gets rid of Kikyo. Not like anyone could really stop her. The only one who could possibly stop her was Shishomaru, and well, we all know how he is. He does not give a crap. And Shishomaru didn't follow them into after Kikyo. He just stayed in the village because Ren had fallen asleep. I have hair everywhere. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it to lighten a bit. I don't know when they decided to change the formula for this stuff, but it's kind of crap now. It used to be enough to where you know, it would mix well enough to where you could literally comb it through your hair. It's not like that now. Anyway, I'm dyeing my hair red, but I have to bleach it first because of how dark my hair is, that it's not gonna turn out as pretty as I want it to if I just throw it over my dark hair. So anyway, they see Kikyo, they kill her, blah blah blah. They go back to the village. Setsu has Kagome's soul, the rest of her soul, and you know, destroyed Kikyo's clay body as well. She's supposed to be dead. She's going to be dead. She's gonna make damn sure she stays dead. This time, making sure there are no strands of Kikyo anywhere. Making sure there are no strands of Kagome anywhere. She doesn't want her revived either. It's torture to put them through that. And let's see, they get back to the Setsu ends up getting really upset and just kind of, just doesn't want to deal with anybody or anyone. Just kind of wants to be all on her own. She's upset. She's really lost her sister, blah, blah, blah. So there it is. So yeah, she wants to be alone, so she goes off on her own. Doesn't work for very long because Ren again follows her. Shomru's busy talking to Kaede about what the hell's going on. Inuyasha and his group have already left. They took Inuyasha far away from Setsu because they had a feeling that if he stayed around, she was going to kill him. Which, to be fair, I was going to do. So they were smart in picking him elsewhere. Because I really don't see a point in him either. His character is practically useless at this point. At this point in time, the story mainly focuses on Setsu, Shishomaru, and Rin. And every now and then you'll run into Inuyasha or people that knew Kagome, but they're not the main causes of the story. Anyway, uh Rin's out at this lake on top of this big rock with Setsu talking to her, and then they both fall asleep. Well, Shishomaru, noticing that Rin is gone, starts getting worried, goes looking for her, pretending that he's not as well. It's Shishomaru, he's gotta be cool no matter what. But anyway, so he's looking for her and happens to see them both sleeping on a rock. And at this point in time, he takes the chance to really pay attention to who's with Rin. because Ren seems to have no defenses against this woman whatsoever, which has kind of got him worried. Now, I know that everyone's like, well, Ren and Shishomaru was supposed to get together at the end. No, that's stupid. Okay, to me, that is completely stupid because he practically raised her. Okay, to me, at that point, that's just incest. Just no, it is not okay. And not only that, I don't think they make a really cute couple. Anyways, Setsu has white hair on, the top half is white, and then it kind of looks like someone dipped her hair in blood because it's got this dark red color at the bottom. Her hair is as long as Shishomaru's, but she keeps it tied up. She has it braided and then curled up in a bun. That way she doesn't have to mess with it much because hair always gets in the way. And Shishomaru has Ren, so he always has someone to brush his hair. Not only that, he's got his big fluffy tail. Anyway, so he's staring at her. Very nice round face, very pretty. Anyway, um, she opens her eyes and he automatically sees gold eyes, which to him's like demon. So he gets curious and he asks because it still made no sense to him. No one has explained to him clearly as to what's going on. She ends up telling him how she's full demon, how her sister is human, and how only one of her parents is demon, and how she's not half demon. So, kind of goes into a whole weird thing. The rant lasts for a while, and then he takes Ren and disappears. Well, after he takes Ren, he wants to stay and talk a bit, but she kind of just, I'm going back to sleep, and then he leaves. Anyway, I need to go outside because I'm not allowed to smoke in the house. And I need to smoke. Not only that, the heat from outside could probably help process my hair just a tad bit faster. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to lighten it a bit. That way the red will stick. I probably won't be able to do the red today, not without really damaging my hair. Chances are I'll end up running to the store to get another bleach kit in case this one doesn't lighten like I want it to. But anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Anyway, what were the stories that you read that you had changed? Because every story that I read, I change just because it makes it more interesting in my head. Not only that, I tend to add a lot more romance and a lot more aggressive men just because, yeah. One of my favorite ones so far to change is the villain's ending is death, and that has Callisto. I believe that's how you say his name. Anyway, he's the crown prince in the story, and so handsome. Like his hair is like as fine as freaking gold, and just red eyes. Just oh, he is. dreamy for a manga character. Okay, just if he was real, you're mine. But anyway, uh, I've rewritten that story 1,000 times in my head, just with more romance and more connection between Callisto and Penelope, just because, oof, it needs it. Just the way they interact with each other is so freaking perfect. It's like an old married couple, but at the same time, they don't know each other as well as an old married couple. So it kind of gives it a fun dynamic. So I'm really loving the story so far. It's really upsetting that not a lot of people have read it like I have. So yeah, I'm really curious as to what stories you read and did you change? 'Cause I changed a lot of things. It's not everything. The basis of the story is still there, especially with the Inuyasha one, because Setsu ends up taking up the quest to get all the shards back together, which her and Naraku end up interacting a lot more, as well as Shishomaru, her, and Rin. So I also throw in Koga at one point, because Setsu has to tell him that Foam is no longer there because there's no way he's going to go to Inuyasha. He's not going to smell Kagome over there anymore. Setsu's the closest thing that smells like her. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and smoke and then check on my hair. It took me nearly 30 minutes to get all this crap in. They changed the formula on me. Now it's not as maneuverable as it used to be. So we'll see. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Um, if you haven't already, check out Jacksepticeye's what was that video called? Uh 3 months, was it? Um I was crying the entire time. I've never had to deal with asthma, but I've got allergies like crazy and just dealing with depression, anxiety, and all this other stuff. I get that. Don't feel it the same way as some people do, but do check it out. Do give your support to him. I I subscribed to him ages ago when he was playing Subnautica. Um, just I've been kind of out of the loop with a lot of things. And the only reason I started watching that in the first place was because the kids were constantly watching, in Washington, the kids were constantly watching Markiplier's Baldi games. They would watch that while going to sleep. They absolutely loved it. And I decided to go and check out the channel because Mariah said it wasn't a kids' channel. They're only allowed to watch Baldi. And I was like, well, if it's not a kids' channel, why are they watching it? So anyway, I went to watch it and got really hooked and ended up finding Jacksepticeye through it, as well as Corpse Husband and all these other people, Valkyrie and Pokey and Jack and just everyone. Ended up finding that whole group of people very interesting. Um, so I'm subscribed to most of them. And yeah, I'm not going to say all of them because to me, some of them are just a little too happy go lucky for me. They're too, they just seem way too happy. And really happy people tend to tick me off a lot just because they're happy and I'm always depressed, which I'm actually trying to get out of that. But anyway, um, so yeah, I'm gonna go outside, smoke, probably come back after I wash my hair out. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. I hope you have a good day. I'm getting tired again already. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.